What is up guys, welcome back to Lazy Skater. In this video I've decided it's time to retire the FA deck as it's completely battered now, and I'm going to go ahead and put my new deck on, which is the Cafe Day Off, Ferris Bueller Day Off reference to the film, the 80s iconic film.
Life moves pretty fast.
I've already gripped this board and I've done quite a cool little grip job on this as well. Ripped the grip tape down the middle and then put it back together on the deck, so there's a nice kind of lightning strike kind of effect down the grip tape. So yeah, really looking forward to skating this deck. If you see my last video, I didn't really enjoy skating this deck too much just because the nose was absolutely huge on it. So this seems a much more mellow board in general, so really looking forward to skating this one. So first of all, this is going to be quite a simple job. All I need to do is get the trucks off and get these trucks onto my new deck. So let's go ahead and get those undone. And when you're changing your trucks over, it is always crucial to remember that there is a front and a back truck, and because they're on the front and the back of your deck, they will wear differently. So if you do get them the wrong way around, you will really notice that when you're skating again. So what I've actually done with these is marked them with a Sharpie. So it's really easy to do. I've just done a little F and a little B on each of my trucks, which I'll show you in a minute once I've got these ones off. And I also tend to try and keep all the nuts and bolts together as pairs, because I know that those go together, so that just makes putting them back on a little bit easier as well sometimes. Especially if they've been knocked or anything like that, they'll go back together a lot easier if they're the ones that were already together. So that's the front truck off, and if you can see on there, I've got the F on the side of it. You probably only need to do it to one truck really, but I ended up doing it to both. And when I've got both of these off, I'll actually show you some of the damage that I've got to this deck and the reason that I've ended up actually deciding that it's time to change it, because it did get pretty battered over the last couple of months. And yeah, new deck day is always really exciting to any skater, isn't it? I love new deck day. And skating a new deck for the first time always feels amazing as well. You've got brand new grip tape and you've got that extra pop that you get with a brand new deck, which just feels amazing. So yeah, the pop on this deck is absolutely finished. I've got severe razor tail on this one, so that's one of the reasons I'm actually swapping over now. I've had a lot of D-lam as well on this board, which I'll show you in a sec. Just one more bolt to do to get this final truck off. And then I'll show you the damage that's happened to the deck. So yeah, to do this, all you need is a simple skate tool. These are really cheap. I think it's like £3 or £4 for a little skate tool like this. So yeah, really easy to do. And I'll just show you some of the damage close up. So that's the razor tail that I've got on there. So a lot of the pop has gone from this deck. There's obviously all the scratches in the middle. A lot of damage to the nose. The plies are coming apart here, you can see. Just the glues failed eventually just because of all the abuse. And yeah, the worst bit was this bit's come off here. So when that bit came off, that's when I said to myself, I'll definitely replace my deck. So yeah, it served me well. It lasted about 4 or 5 months. No cracks or anything around the trucks, but yeah, it's just kind of getting a bit soggy and a bit razor-tailed, so I decided to change it. Okay, so let's get the new one on. And the only downside to this deck is it's a lot harder to tell where the nose is on this one, which way round the nose is. There's a tiny little bit of engraving under here, so I might actually just end up doing some sort of scratch or some paint pen on here just to show the direction of the nose. But that doesn't matter for now, so let's get the trucks back up. So this is the front one. And yeah, it's probably best to do this between my legs like this. And yeah, because the grip is quite fresh, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to use my truck to actually force these through. So you just get the butt of the truck like this and just hit it through. And I always tend to go with the opposites. Try and get the opposites in first. There we go. And just make sure there's no grip tape on the end of those. And then what I tend to do is just get them loosely tightened up. You don't want to tighten them fully, you just want to get it so that they're not going to fall off again. Because what you want to do is make sure that all the bolts are in the trucks before you tighten them all up, otherwise you'll find that sometimes the last bolt won't go in and it makes it really difficult. So I'm just going to get these kind of finger tight There we go, and let's get another 2 in. Okay, they're all through and in the holes now, so I can definitely tighten this one up. But yeah, what you will find, unfortunately, is as you get better at skating, as you're doing more flip tricks and that kind of thing, that decks tend to wear out a lot quicker. So the last Popsicle deck I had before that one I actually kept for 12 months, and by the end of those 12 months, when I replaced it for a fresh one, I realised that that was way, way, way too long to leave a deck on your board. That's way too long to use a deck for, really. So I've made a vow to myself now that the maximum I'll ever use a deck for is 6 months. That seems about right, and yeah, it's a bit of an expense, but if you want to try and keep that pop fresh on the deck and actually have a nice usable deck, so 6 months seems to be about the usage for me. If you're doing bigger impact stuff like stairs and that kind of thing, they may last a lot shorter than that. So yeah, just try and keep an eye on your board to see if there's any cracks or anything like that. You don't want to be skating it with cracks where they could snap when you're trying something. So the FA deck that I just used lasted about 5 months, and then I decided it's time to change over. So that's the front truck done. And yeah, just one to go now, but this looks really nice already. Really enjoying this design and setup. And at some point I'll do another video actually where I just talk through my complete setup. And what I'm gonna do with this side is also get all the bolts in first, because that was a bit tricky last time. So I'm gonna make sure all these are pressed through. So now I've got all 4 pins to line up with the trucks now, so this will make things a little bit easier as well. And always make sure that the kingpin is facing inwards on the board, and that's for both sides as well. The kingpins should both be facing towards the center of the board. You don't want to put it around the other way, otherwise you will not be able to use your trucks properly. That's something a lot of new skaters tend to do by accident, so that's something to keep an eye out for. So yeah, just got these 4 little bolts, or yeah, I guess they're bolts, little bolts to put back on now, and we're good to go with some fresh pop and fresh deck action. I'm just going to actually get all the bolts on this time, just loose, just so that it's not going to fall off, and then they're all ready to go with the skate tool as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, the skate tool makes this quite an easy job really. And in terms of tightening up the screws as well, or the bolts or whatever they're called, I'll show you about that, because basically what you don't want is the bolts to be kind of prominent on the other side of the board, on the side that you actually use. You don't want the bolts to be sticking up and catching your shoes or whatever when you're skating. So that's kind of a good gauge of how tight to do them up. You just want them to be completely flush with the board, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. So I'm just getting around to tighten them up now. You will feel a bit of resistance as you're getting closer to getting them tight, but you do have to just crank them a little bit to get them fully into the grip and into the deck itself as well. The bolts do taper at the top, so there is a slight assistance for you, but yeah, you just need to crank it a little bit and they'll be nice and flush with your board. Okay, so I'm looking here and I can see that a couple of the bolts aren't sunk enough. I wouldn't like to be catching my shoes on these, so I need to tighten a couple of those up. This side looks all right. I think there's just one that needs tightening up on the bottom corner here. But yeah, the others just need tightening up as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So yeah, you do just have to put a little bit of extra force in to get those final couple of rotations around. There we go, that's in nicely now. And there we go. Those 2 are done pretty much. And yeah, just this bottom one as well. I think it's actually better to use the tool to do the turning rather than the small metal bit. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get purchase on that, so that one's done as well now. And there we go guys, it's all set up and ready to blast. There's just those 2 trucks that I needed to replace. So yeah, super hyped for skating this new deck. Very happy to say goodbye to the FA deck as I mentioned in my previous video. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content guys. That's my brand new 8.5 cafe deck all set up and ready to shred. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please hit the like as well if you enjoyed the content. I'll be back with more videos soon guys. Take it easy and keep skating. Peace!